Hi everyone. I thought I would just throw together this quick video because a lot of you have questions about BrightSpace, and I just want to bring it back to the staff meeting yesterday that Megan really pointed out that if you're comfortable using Google Classroom, then maybe you should just stick to Google Classroom. If you are wanting to see if there's something else, then try BrightSpace. But now is a time that we are kind of doing emergency remote learning. So we are throwing together everything that we can as fast as we can to help everybody out. And I think that along with that journey comes with some overwhelming feelings about using tech and whether or not we are really using it properly. Um, so I will show you what I know about BrightSpace, and then you can kind of make the decision about whether or not it's something that you want to tackle right now, or maybe just stick with Google Classroom. And if you have questions with the Google Classroom, I can help you guys with that as well. I use it all the time with my kids. So first things first, you want to be using Google Chrome as your web browser. So if you have a Mac at home, BrightSpace or D2L, Student Connect, these are all words that are synonymous. They don't work very well with Safari. Google Chrome works really well with it. And in fact, the easiest way to get into Student Connect or BrightSpace is to be logged into your Google account through school. So you know that you're logged in because up in the upper right-hand corner beside the waffle, so this is called the waffle, you can see that you're logged in. So that's my beautiful picture. In case you guys missed my face, there it is. And again, the easiest way to get here is you will notice that if you're logged into Google Chrome, it actually transports all of these bookmarks that we have on our school browsers. And one of them is this smcdsb.on.ca bookmark. And if you click on this, you're going to see Student Connect right there. So instead of trying to navigate through Employee Connect, you can actually go right through here. Now, a couple of things. If you're not seeing this, that's okay. If you go to the upper right-hand corner above the waffle, you see these three little dots up here. If you click on these, you can go to bookmarks and it'll be there as well. So you just have to go to your SMCDSB bookmarks. And again, it's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to bring me, like I said, to my Student Connect. I've previously logged in. You might have to log in. It's the same username and password as Power School or Power Teacher. And you get this nice home screen. So here's the awesome thing about Student Connect or BrightSpace. It is designed to integrate with the Google platform. So that means that anything that you have on your Google Drive, anything that you've been using there, you can integrate here. It also means, like, let's just say I wanted to go into my Google Drive. I'm going to click on that. It automatically pops open another folder up here, or another, tab up here. So that's great. Okay, so a couple of things. So this is the home screen. Now, some of us have had to do PD, though, those great days through Student Connect. What you will notice is that if you click on the waffle, on the Student Connect waffle, which is always at the top, you will see your courses here. Now, you will notice that I have inherited many billions of courses from many different people. And like I said, I used to be an online learning teacher. So I have a lot in here, and I can feel free if there's any courses that you think I've taught before, I will export my BrightSpace shell and I will share it with you. It has everything in there that you might want, and then you can make it your own from there. So these are my 3 courses right now. I've purposely only named 2 and left 1 to rename. I like to rename my courses so that I can keep track of which ones I've taught and in which year and semester. So let's go into my grade 10 applied course right now. So I'm just going to click on it. It opens here. I know I'm in here because this is the background. It says the title right here. There's a couple of things that you'll notice at the top. So the first one is there's a calendar. So if you were to click on this, just feel free to click around. It opens here. You can actually sync this. It's automatically synced with your Google Calendar. So if you're using Google Calendar for reminders or putting anything in for your students, it all goes here and it pops up those reminders on the main page. So let's just say I want to go back to the front page. You're going to click on Welcome Sarah Cox or Welcome Your Name, and it'll bring you back there. The next thing is content. So in my content, because this is a shell that I've purposely left blank to kind of walk you guys through, I've actually gone through and deleted everything. There's nothing here because I haven't populated it yet. Now, that's okay. We can easily populate this, and I'm going to show you exactly why I prefer BrightSpace as opposed to Google Classroom. And it's because of this content tab. So in here on Google Classroom, everything kind of appears. Actually, let me pull up my Google Classroom so you guys can see. I hope you're all doing well. I miss you all so much. Okay, so this is my grade 10 applied classroom. So you can see I have posts in here. I regularly do things. And we know that in Google Classroom, our announcements happen in our stream. We can post classwork here, and you can see some units, people, grades, all of this stuff. Okay, so that's all in our Google Classroom. I prefer the layout in BrightSpace, especially if this is going to be at your own pace learning for some of our students, because under content, you can put in all of your new units. So I'm just going to label this unit 1. Don't worry, I'll be more creative later on. And right now it's hidden. So this means that students can't see it. You can go in through here and edit everything before they see. When you're ready for them to see it, you just click visible. In here, I'm going to I can add a new lesson in my unit 1. So let's learn how to use BrightSpace. Okay. Okay, so I just made my new unit there. It's called Let's Learn How to Use BrightSpace. And if I were to add some content in here, I can actually just upload right from my Google Drive. So I click, in case you weren't watching, sorry, I clicked add, and then on my Google Drive here, which is how you would add stuff into Google Classroom, I can click on any of the folders in here, and then I can just upload any of the things that I want to upload in there. So if I'm going into my 2P, let's just say my guide to my classroom here, and it automatically, this is super important, it automatically changes the permission of anything that you upload so everybody can see it. Okay, they cannot edit it, they can just see it. So it's going to upload this into here, into my unit 1. If I click down on unit 1, let's learn how to use BrightSpace. And if I open here, oh look, here's going to be the guide to my classroom. Okay, so this is kind of how I use this. This is like my first day introduction of how we can be awesome together as people. And so students can scroll through here and use everything. It's exactly the same as using Google Classroom. Like I said, I just prefer the layout of how to do this. Now, in terms of content, it's exactly the same. I know that a lot of us are struggling right now in terms of how we're going to assess students. I keep reading all of these crazy things. It's insane to think that my job is I'm now being more informed through Twitter than I am through policy, because of how dynamic this situation and how fluid everything is moving. So I keep reading all of these things directly from the Minister of Education, and saying that students will still be assessed, students will still be marked, students will still be graded at the end of the semester. I know for me, like I'm finding that a little bit daunting, because I for sure have students who don't have regular access to tech. And I'm sure that most of us do, given where we live. But what's awesome about here, I don't know if any of you have tried to use quizzes on Google Classroom. They're a disaster. But what's awesome about here is that if you click on quizzes, you can make a quiz in here that's a little bit more intuitive. So you can put in all of these questions in here. And I'm going to make a separate video about how to do this, but the multiple choice comes up way better. So just to show you, I'm going to just pop into one of my classes from last year. Let's see, which one do I want to do? Maybe this one. Just to kind of give you an idea of what a quiz could look like. So preview. I used to run my classes last year and in fact this year using BrightSpace. And the reason was because first off, we no longer, oh, it's not going to let me, sorry, that was a bad example. We no longer have access to certain things like Scantron sheets. And I find it hard to always mark multiple choice. Ugh. It's because... Okay, so this is a quiz that I made last semester. So you can see that there's a whole bunch of different pages in here, because each question is kind of a page. But if I'm looking at here, it's an awesome tool for in terms of being able to have some quick multiple choice. Here's the thing, if you design your quiz to have multiple choice in it, you can time it, you can put time limits on it, so it kind of impedes cheating. You can set it up, so for instance, I've put a time limit of 40 minutes on this quest. You can set it up so that students can't open other tabs while they're in this tab, which is super beneficial. And which some of us might find the easiest or most welcoming thing is that you can when you're making the quiz, you select on the answer that's correct. So as soon as these are submitted, so for instance, which of the following is the particles is the smallest? And let's just say I don't know. So I'm just going to click some random stuff in here. Okay. So I've just clicked a bunch of random stuff. I'm going to submit my quiz. I have 20. It tells you how many unanswered questions you have. That's a little bit of alarming. That's okay. I'm still going to submit. And it automatically grades it. So for instance, I can see the points that I've gotten correct, the points that I have not gotten correct. And that's all awesome in terms of getting instantaneous feedback to our students. Short answer questions take a little bit longer to grade. So it shows me my mark at the bottom here. Because you're going to have to go back in and possibly grade them depending on what the answer is. It can only line up certain words. So this is one of the reasons why I like to use BrightSpace. Okay, so now that we've just kind of digressed a little bit, and you can go back and pause or fast forward. And like I said, I can do more mini tutorials if you find that helpful. So here is my main toolbar, right? And you can click around. You can have online discussions here where students can type out responses and we can check in with everybody, just like you would on Google Classroom, but it's a little bit more hands-on in terms of what they can respond, and it doesn't just come up as a feed. You don't get an email every time someone adds a comment to your post. You have this activity feed on the main screen, which acts exactly like your Google Stream, so you can set up a post for students to see as soon as they come in. And it can just be like, hello, welcome to Student Connect. Okay, you can schedule the post. I'm not sure if you caught that, but if I was clicking one, I could post later, schedule the post for the time that I want, and it would. You can add attachments. So if I wanted to add something from my Google Drive or a YouTube link, or if I even wanted to attach a video, that everything is cool there. We can do that just like you can in Google Classroom. Here's the coolest thing though, is that I can actually have my Google Apps directly on this screen, which I find super helpful if you're using this as your main hub. So I'm going to authorize my Google account. You have to click it twice. You click on your name, you fill in the password. What this is saying here is you're allowing D2L or BrightSpace to have access to your Google Drive files, your calendar, and your email. It doesn't do anything with that data. So what you do is you authorize it the second time and it follows through. Allow. And now on the side on this widget, I can see all of my emails, my calendar pops up, everything. So I can go into here super easy and see anything that I need. Okay, so this is basically BrightSpace. You have a class list, which is going to be pre-populated by all of your students. So here's all of the students that I have. I can also see when people accessed my course last, and actually how long they have spent in active time on BrightSpace. So if I were to log on and let's just say I'm trying to fool my teacher into thinking that I'm doing 3 hours per course, and I were to just log on and leave it, nothing would happen. It wouldn't count that time. You can go into course admin and do some things. Like I said, I change the name often on mine. So I'll go into course offering information. So if you just click on course admin, course offering information, and like this name means nothing to our students. Usually they don't know what the course code is. They don't care what their course is called. But so I usually, like I said, name it with the year and the semester, grade 10. Applied math, okay? And you're gonna scroll down. This is the course offering code. So if I were to search from this means nothing to you guys right now. But later on, let's just say that you were to spend a lot of your time building up this course. You're gonna wanna use this again, just like you might wanna reuse a Google Classroom. And you can download that and do that again as well. The most important thing is you're going to keep scrolling down until you see active. So if you've decided that you want to go all in on BrightSpace, you need to make sure that you click this box. It's super important that your course is active. And then you're going to click save, which is at the bottom right here. Let's just say, just like Google Classroom, you don't like the front banner that you see. You can fix that as well. You can go through, add in any pictures that you want to be this front banner that's across here. Okay, you can even change it just from here, change image. Let's just say I want to use this awesome calculator because it's math and everybody associates math with calculators. And there we go. Okay, so just like that. So like I said, this really is just kind of like a more powerful Google Classroom. It seems intimidating, but I will say that the earlier versions of D2L sucked. They sucked so bad. You had to go in and actually almost know how to code in order to kind of make these lessons and integrate everything on here. But what BrightSpace and D2L did was that they really listened to teacher feedback in that we liked how Google Classroom platform worked in terms of its simplicity. And they made it like that. So now you don't need to know how to code. You can do anything like you were before. Um, this Google Apps function is unique to every single person. So if, let's just say, a student is logging on, obviously they're not seeing your emails, but they would have access to their emails here, which I think is super important because a lot of them have a hard time kind of managing all of that stuff. The other thing is that if I go back to the front page, so if you click Student Connect, this brings you back to, or sorry, home. This brings you back to the home where you see all of these other things here. If you expand this, you can see that there's quite a few applications that you may want to use as a teacher. You can go through the ministry course curriculum packages. If you keep scrolling down, there's access to Twitter, but secondary resources are here. So it gives you all of these widgets that are integrated very nicely with this platform. So anything that you want to use here, you can. You have access, like I said, to all of these things for different kind of core subjects. But yeah, so this is basically BrightSpace. It seems super overwhelming. I think that it's best if I just kind of do this quick introduction. Again, if you want to access your courses, here's the waffle. You're going to click on whichever course you need to get into. So for instance, if we go into my science course, I was fooling around with it a little bit last night in terms of what I want to create. So if I click on content again, you can see these are my two main topics that I'm going to be talking about for the next little while. So if I were to expand chemistry, I've kind of broken it down into, we've already done a bunch of it. So if you're a science teacher watching this thinking, what the heck is she doing? We've done all of this, but I think that some students might need some extra practice with this. So I've broken it down into some of the main things. We haven't talked about pH, that's why it's here. And you can help pace them. So these are the lessons. I'm going to be adding things in here. You can also link, if I click on expectations, you can link to help you pace curriculum expectations into here just by clicking add or remove expectations up here. And these are directly linked to our curricular documents. So again, it's something to help you pace yourself, and then you can help pace students as well. But again, so you can just add new unit here, and then if you keep clicking add, that's fine. But again, I think that it's important that we just have this quick overview. There's a lot of functions on here that you are not going to use, and please don't try to like force something into your pathway. I think that you know what's best for you and your students. Um, One of the main questions that I have had is, will students be able to use this if they don't have a laptop? So for instance, if they only had a smart device? And the answer is yes. There is an app that they designed to integrate D2L or BrightSpace onto a smartphone, and it's called Pulse. So if you look up Pulse, BrightSpace Pulse, it's actually made directly so that students can use this. They can download it on Apple or Android. And again, it comes right up on their phones. It's very, very good in terms of integrating. My students had no problem using it. So from grade 9 to grade 12, applied to academic in the past. So this is something that I've obviously had a lot of time to kind of digest and use. And like I said, I was paid for 3 years to be an e-learning teacher. So this was literally my job. But a lot of us on staff have knowledge with this, and I would say a lot of us on staff have knowledge of this with different degrees of technological abilities. So if you need help, send me an email. I can actually walk you through or do more videos of how to set up this content. The assignment works exactly like your Google Assignments folder on Google Drive. You're just going to click New Assignment, and you go through, you name it. You can put in restrictions if you like in terms of, in terms of when students are able to submit or if it has a due date. Oops, sorry, I clicked too far. I get too excited sometimes. I'm just gonna go back in and edit this. So this was the screen that you were seeing. Okay, so restrictions allows you to go in, and if it has a due date, if you don't want them to be able to submit past that date, they can do that. They can only maybe submit one thing. You can enable Turnitin so you can check for plagiarism. Um, all of the things that you could do on Google Drive right now or Google Classroom. So again, like it's pretty self-explanatory. You can submit how many marks it's out of. You can add rubrics if you want to add them so that when you're going through and marking it, it's super easy. Um, when you're marking assignments, you can go through and you can, if you have an iPad or a tablet or a phone, you can actually write on the assignment on the PDF as if you were writing on paper. You can leave a voice recording as feedback or a video recording. So it's again all about what you want to do and tailor for your students. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it here. If you guys have any questions, just kind of hit me up. You have my email. I shared my phone number with everybody on staff inadvertently, but you guys can all text me. I'm stuck at home, like most of us, but a little bit more in depth. In terms of we are for sure self-isolating just as long as everything's going on with Drew's work. So yeah, like literally I have all of the time in the world and my parents stole my dog, so I'm bored as heck. But so I love helping people with this stuff. I love using this tech. And if again, if you'd like a specific tutorial, just send me a message.